Good afternoon. Welcome to Afternoon Chat. I'm your host, Ghost Mostly. How's everybody doing today? And it's a brand new day. I actually put on an overshirt today. See if I could put a little color in the picture here. The last time I tried to wear this shirt for the live stream, we got kicked off, so we only made it 20 minutes. I think we're going to do better today. The chat's active. I need people to jump in and chat. That's the whole point of the show. You guys are the star, not me. In order to operate the chat, you need to go to YouTube and download the Discord app. It's free, as far as I know anyways. It's free. And then you'll be able to chat. It's my understanding that most people can't chat with their TVs yet. You'd have to have the latest smart TV with all the bells and whistles attached. As you can see, I made a little bit of progress with my lighting issues. It's getting better. It's improving. We're about a month into this now, and I think YouTube's going to get us sorted out pretty soon. They'll figure out who to put us in front of, and then our audience will be there. I didn't think, I looked over yesterday's show. I didn't think I did a very good job. I was not real happy with my performance. It was nothing mechanical. There was no issues in that way. I don't think I was interesting yesterday. I thought I was kind of boring. And I'm not trying to be boring. Afternoon Chat was designed to run Monday through Friday, 3 to 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And it's an open chat room with no predetermined subject. We can talk about anything anybody wants to talk about within the community guidelines that YouTube has previously established. Let's not upset YouTube, but let's have a conversation. Let's talk things out. It's my belief that everybody has the right to speak their mind. Your opinion matters. It matters to me. I'd like to hear it. I have no predetermined topics for this show. I'm going to leave all that up to the chat. As the chat populates, I'm going to disappear. I'll become the ghost. Mostly ghost, anyways. I got that name from my old days writing music lyrics, song lyrics. I was a ghost writer. I didn't want the band to have to put my name on anything or give me any credit or owe me anything. But as a nickname goes, I liked Ghost Mostly. So when I started this project, I just rolled that same alias forward and I created Ghost Mostly Media, LLC. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with the media company. My first project was this chat room, but I'm open to ideas as to what to do with the rest of it. I've thought about doing videos and such, but to be honest with you, I think that a lot of the people that are doing videos are spending most of their time doing editing. And I don't think editing looks like any fun. It looks like work. I'm not interested in doing that. If I could videotape and not have to edit, I'd be more likely to do it. I know there's all kinds of editing software out there, and there are even people that do that for a living. It's not me. I don't have a production staff here. I don't have a makeup artist. I don't even have a lighting technician. All I got is me. One guy sitting on the end of his couch, waiting for people to come into the chat room and talk to me. YouTube's algorithm will eventually sort this show out and put us in front of the people that we need to be in front of, the people that want to chat. I'm not going to interfere with YouTube and the way it works. I am assuming that they are professionals, and all I have to do is do a reliable, dependable live stream, and eventually they will find my audience for me, and they will eventually put us in the recommended category for those that like to chat. I haven't run a bunch of shorts. I'm not advertising on other platforms. I'm not broadcasting on any other platforms. I'm doing exclusively YouTube. I keep my overhead down low. Okay. It'll happen eventually. YouTube will not let a channel exist without plugging them into their system and finding out where their audience is and putting them in front of their audience. So it's just a matter of time. And hopefully we'll have a global audience. I understand it's only going to be afternoon chat in the continental United States. It'll just be a live chat room in other countries because of the time difference. This is Monday through Friday, 3 to 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Now, once the chat populates, if we decide as a group to alter the hours or to change some things to do with the format or whatever, we'll do that as a group. I'm not wanting to be the star of the show. I'm wanting to be in the background, okay? I don't want people to feel like I'm putting a thumb on the scale and saying, oh, we have to talk about this or we have to talk about that. You know, I could care less what we talk about. The important thing to me is that we get to talk. Okay. I got pretty simple ideas. Hopefully another week or two, and the chat will start to populate, and we'll have some things going on in here that people are going to want to comment on. Until that time, the only thing we got going on is me and whatever rabbit hole I fall into this week. Okay. I don't have a particular topic that I want to talk about. I don't want to try to make the show political. I don't want to try to make the show competitive or even lame. I just want the show to exist. That way, the people that jump in the chat will become the stars of the show, not me. My history, I worked most of my adult life in Las Vegas, Nevada. I was in the table games industry, blackjack, craps, roulette, live gaming. I hesitate to say gaming because so many of the online community are into competitive computer games. The gaming industry that I worked in, it was gambling for adults only. Okay. I had a 33 plus year career. Started out as a blackjack dealer and worked my way up to casino shift manager. Yeah, I had short hair back then, was clean shaven, wore a suit and tie even, I think that all those years in the suit and tie is why I hate anything other than a scruffy appearance nowadays. I call it scruffy. It's probably the wrong term for the younger crowd today. I generally just wear jeans and a t-shirt every day. Well, until we get into winter. I'm in Michigan, so when I get into winter, it's serious winter. Okay, the temp drops, the snow falls, and it gets real fast. For right now, it's still summer. I mean, we're not even really in the fall. I'm just starting to see leaves turning and starting to fall. Yeah, we got a long way to go yet. I really don't expect snow here until anytime after Thanksgiving, I guess. I remember some Thanksgivings in Michigan with snow. But, generally, if you do get snow on Thanksgiving, it's just a light dusting. A week later, it'll be gone. And then a week after that, real winter starts to hit. I'm actually looking forward to seeing this show take off. It's just a matter of time. YouTube will figure us out. Okay. I had initially, when I started this, I had some connectivity issues. And I blame all that on Spectrum, my internet carrier. I've thought about changing. I'm looking into another company now. But that's because Spectrum's Wi-Fi, it seems to be somewhat lacking. In order to solve my connectivity issues, 2.5 weeks into the initial problems, of live streaming for 2 hours a day. 2.5 weeks in, I find out that I can alleviate all those problems by hardwiring my laptop directly to my router, which is what I've done. The problem solved. It's up, it's running. I think we're good to go now. I don't expect any further issues at all. The toughest part of it was just that it was so frustrating trying to find out what the cause was. And as it turns out, Spectrum's Wi-Fi is somewhat sus. Okay, I think they're trying to say their product is better than it is. But by the time I had talked to 4 or 5 of their people and gotten them to replace all my equipment with a newer version, I was still having the problems. And that's when I ran down to Best Buy and picked up the Ethernet cable and adapter and flew home and hooked them up and tested it out, and it worked. And we haven't had any issues since. I haven't seen any warnings pop up on my screen. And I think tomorrow will be a week that we've had it repaired, or the problem solved anyway. Well, I find it hard to believe that with the way that Spectrum's Wi-Fi is working, I find it hard to believe that they're actually trying to charge money for it. Okay, if it's got that many issues. I was on the phone with them, and the guy's telling me, okay, now hold your modem up in the air as high as you can get, and we'll run another test. He wanted to check and see if there was interference. And he's asking me questions like, do I have a fish tank? Is my router next to a window? I'm in an apartment. Is my neighbor's Wi-Fi on the other side of the same wall? And I'm like, if your Wi-Fi was worth a darn, it would work no matter what my neighbor was doing, whether I had a fish tank or was next to a window. Shouldn't be an issue. As far as I'm concerned, if they're having those kind of interference issues, they should be boosting their signal. Okay. It's just another corporation pushing a product that's not quite up to snuff. Okay. It's retarded. I see a lot of these corporations that are just trying to skate by. They don't want to fix their real issues. They don't want to correct the problem. They want to pretend the problem isn't as bad as it is. As far as I'm concerned, it's just a poor business strategy. Okay. That's just my opinion. One man's opinion sitting on one end of his couch. Okay. That's all I can claim is my own perspective. Maybe Spectrum is not good for apartments. How would I know? All that stuff's above my pay grade, so I'm not gonna sweat it. For right now, our problems are solved. The program's up and running, and my lighting's getting better. My hair doesn't look like it's red. Well, it looks like, it's getting better. I'm working on the lighting. I'm probably going to have to go out and buy some diffused lighting to alleviate the shadows. But I'm thinking more like what I need now is more color in the background back here where it's white or gray or whatever, this side too. I was thinking, maybe some stained glass back there or something with some color to it. Well, my problem is this is not a studio. I'm in my living room, right? So keep that in mind. I'm inviting the world into my living room to have a conversation. Please conduct yourself accordingly. I will. Okay. But yeah, I'm looking at this and I'm saying, yeah, the picture looks kind of dark. Well, I have a black leather couch. Okay. That's what I prefer. Well, when I decorated this apartment 2 years ago, I didn't realize I was going to be starting a live stream here. But if I went the other way with my LLC and I wanted to go out and rent a studio or buy a bunch of equipment, well, then I'd have to have sponsors. And I have no sponsors. I have no mid-roll ads. There's no commercials. I'm one of the few guys you can find on TV that's not trying to sell you something. And I'm not. I'm not coming out with a line of merch next week. It's not going to happen. I have no interest in your money. Okay. I'm not trying to hustle you. Well, I have, there is this whole like and subscribe crapola for YouTube. They have set goals that I need my media company to achieve those goals eventually. Okay. But I'm not in any hurry for it. And those don't cost you as the viewer or the person in the chat. It doesn't cost you any money. As far as I know, everything is free. The only thing that could cost money would be a membership. And I did set one up on Patreon. I created a Patreon page. But as far as I know, I haven't activated it. And the membership page on YouTube, I haven't put in there what you would get in exchange for your membership. I figured if somebody really wanted to support the channel, they could, but it's not required. I don't think anybody has to do anything. Although, I do have to reach these tiers that YouTube is set up for my corporation. Eventually, I have to have 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 viewing hours so that I can be monetized and in a position to get paid if I decide to put something online that I would like to get paid for, which it should be happening somewhere down the road. It's just that for right now, I'm not sweating it. I'm able to keep my overhead on this channel low. It's $13.99 a month. $13.99. Okay. I can fade that for you guys. Okay. I don't have to sell you anything in order to lay that kind of cash out. Okay. I'm not looking for any sponsors. I have no interest in selling you anything. There's enough shows on TV. Every other show on TV is trying to sell you something. I don't plan on doing it. I have no interest there. It might have something to do with the fact that I was in the casino business and I was taking people's money most of the day. And I have no desire to do that anymore. It didn't go into my pocket, okay, but I was a table games dealer, and when you lost your money, I had to put it into the casino's pocket, you know. I don't want to be falling into the greed trap that seems to have engulfed most of the world. Well, most of the world that I see, America, anyways, the United States. I just, to me, I have no desire to sell you anything. I have no desire to chase your wallet or to hustle you or to manipulate you or control you or control anybody. That's not what I'm looking for. I'm looking to meet people and have conversations with them because that's what I did for in excess of 30 years. I probably met at least 100 people a week for that 30 years. And I miss that part of my life. I find it very interesting to meet somebody and find out where they're from, to find out what's going on in their part of the world. I liked it. And I found the people are much more relatable. Well, I think most of what you see on the internet or on TV nowadays is doctored or manipulated or biased, or it's trying to control you or something along those lines. And yeah, I'm not in that rat race. Okay, yeah, I want to talk to people, but I don't want to control them or hustle them or convince them of anything. I'm not trying to talk anybody into anything other than talking to me and each other in this chat room. So if you can get the Discord app, jump on your phone and let's chat. You type it in, I'll read it, we'll discuss it. I don't care what the topic is. The only way this show can fail is if I were to die, I think, because I made a commitment to myself that I'm going to be here for a minimum of 3 years. So I hate to think that 3 years from now, I'll still be sitting here with no one in the chat. I hope that isn't the case, but you never know. I haven't told friends and family. It would be real easy for me to tell them and to stack the chat and to get people in here and create artificial conversations. I have no interest in doing that. I think that the audience I want is the YouTube audience, and they'll line us all up where we're supposed to be eventually. I see no point in trying to rush them. But I do need the likes and subscribes. I need to reach that monetization level at some point. Okay. So that if I post a video for somebody, I can earn some income off of it. But that I'll be doing that with the media company, not with the chat room. Okay. The chat room is just for me to socialize, it's for me to talk to people. I I had a busy day today so far. Excuse me. And I got up and I had family breakfast. Um, got to see the pictures of the little kids and hear what's going on with whom, and family gossip, the kind of stuff that you hear about all the time. You know, warms your heart when you're connected to a family, in my opinion. I found out my father's going to go on vacation. He's going to go down to Florida. My sister's down there. Well, he's going to go in November, which, good for him. I like him to be able to take vacations. That's one of the things that I'm enjoying about being back in Michigan after all those years in Vegas is I get more time with family and I get more time with my father. I cherish that. Back in the day, we were both on the job and living 1,500 miles apart. We didn't have that much contact. Now it's kind of nice to go to breakfast with him a couple of days a week and shoot the breeze, find out what he's up to. I'm having a pretty good day today. I mean, did you see the Lions win last night? Well, I am a Lions fan. I don't hide that. And they had a wonderful football game last night. I enjoyed it immensely. I might rewatch it. Okay. And I already know the final score. I've been a Lions fan my whole life, being born and raised in Michigan. Tigers, Lions, Michigan, Michigan State, Western Michigan, Central Michigan, right? I don't follow the college, and I'm not that into the baseball anymore, but I do like the NFL a lot. I think the Lions are going to be 16-1 this season now. Their actual record is 2 wins, 1 loss, but I don't see them losing another game the rest of the season. I think they're going to go to the Super Bowl and win it. I'm thinking they might end up playing I don't know, maybe San Francisco along the way. Yeah, probably the Eagles in the playoffs at some point, but we'll see how everything matches up, and who knows? The Indianapolis Colts could be there. They're like 3-0. The only team really, I don't follow the every team in the league. I don't play fantasy football anymore. I did that back in the 80s when no one was doing it. That's when it was cool. Now that it's mainstream entertainment for the world, it's not cool anymore. It's just, it is, right? When I did fantasy football, nobody was doing fantasy football. It was a lot of fun. Okay. Well, back when I did it, I used to be able to walk over to the Stardust Sportsbook and walk in and read the actual injury report for the entire NFL. Know exactly who was going to play and who wasn't, right? Back in those days, it was fun. It was very entertaining. Unfortunately, there's too many rabbit holes you can go down as far as the scoring system for each one of these leagues. The scoring system can be different in each one. There's no uniform scoring system anymore. Some of them are counting the tackles. Okay. And how much do you want to micromanage your team? Okay. How far you want to take it? I did that back in the day and I thought it was fun. We used to do like a 8-man league. I was even commissioner a couple of years. Too much work nowadays. I know guys that got half a dozen teams. Okay. That falls into the excessive category for me. My opinion. Okay. And I think everything is good in moderation, but if you get excessive with anything, it can become a problem. Don't go to the extreme. Try to stay in the middle of the road, you know. Personal opinion. I don't know. You think my hair looks red in this light? It looks kind of dark. I don't know. It's still a little bit damp. I was running late today. Well, I did a lot of errands. I went to the bank, the grocery store, the cigarette store, breakfast, and I still found time to take an hour nap. Well, I'm a nap specialist. If napping was a job, I'd be working full time. I just all those years in Vegas, I was always busy, always on the go, and I shorted myself on sleep for literally decades. And now it's the opposite. Now I'll get as much sleep as I need. I'll shorten my awake hours. Well, I have a different lifestyle now. When I was in Vegas, I used to cram so much into each day that I had to golf on Thursday nights. Okay. Under the lights. I used to try to cram 30 hours worth of life into a 24-hour day. I ended up getting, 4 or 5 hours sleep. Ran myself down quite a bit. It was all right while I was young, but I ain't young, so I ain't doing that no more. Okay. I gotta get my rest and follow the doctor's orders now. Whereas back in the day, I never even went to the doctor. Okay. But yeah, the older you get, the more you listen to the doctors, and you're going to do as you're told because you want to survive. You want to thrive. Quality of life, as it were. If you're having health issues, you're not enjoying quality of life. I'm still drinking my Dr. Pepper here, but I'll be moving on to my Gatorade shortly because I need the electrolytes. So says my doctor. The way it's working out is I'm always drinking my Gatorade while I'm doing the live stream. Well, I drink coffee in the morning, decaf coffee, I should say. I'm thinking about giving up the Dr. Peppers because it is my only source of sugar and caffeine left. Well, I guess there's some sugar in the Gatorade, but it is what it is. But the Dr. Peppers, I'm down to 2 cans a day on my habit now. At one point, I was 6 cans a day. Well, I had given up coffee and switched to decaf, and then I needed that caffeine from somewhere, so I was getting it from the Dr. Peppers. It's the spot. And I keep everything within arm's reach here. Well, I try to keep it all within arm's reach. Sometimes I might not have long enough arms, but for the most part, Gatorade. Yeah, I hate the thought of not having anyone in chat and no one to talk to. I think I'm probably telling you guys way too much about myself. Well, I don't want to be the star of the show. I want to be a ghost. You should barely even know that I'm here. Okay. Once we have the chat populated, we'll all get the chance to participate, and I should basically fade into the background and just be sitting here moderating and reading your chats. Well, I'm voicing my opinions on things now, but that's because you guys aren't in here talking. Okay. If you guys were in here chatting, you wouldn't have to listen to me droll on about my boring life. I'm excited that this is up and running now, and I'm no longer having all the issues. I'm starting to feel confident about it, as long as, I keep my browser updated. I think this thing will just keep on working. Yeah, I smoke cigarettes and I smoke marijuana. I don't recommend you do either. Marijuana, well, let me say marijuana is legal here in Michigan. Okay, we have recreational passed. So I am not breaking any laws, and I would never encourage anyone to break any laws ever. I got to get my disclaimers in there. Okay. I can't help it. There could be kids watching. All right. You never know. So I don't want to, be a bad influence on anyone. Hopefully, I won't. But I smoke cigarettes to cut down on my pot. I smoke the pot to cut down on my cigarettes. And, some comedian, I don't remember who, somebody said that I'll probably be smoking 3 days after I'm dead because they're going to cremate my ass. Okay. I got rid of all my other vices. I watched Monday Night Football last night and never even had a beer. Okay. drinking was hard for me to get under control. Let me tell you, I was a blackout drunk from like 16 to 35. Okay, so yeah, that was hard. I had trouble putting down that bottle, believe me. But now I got it under control, and I can buy a 6-pack, and it lasts about 2 months. Well, normally I do have a beer when I watch Tom Grassi, but I didn't watch Tom Grassi last night. I watched my other buddy, Mike Kimber. Mike Kimber does a Lions broadcast on YouTube as well, and I love the emotion that comes out of Mike. He gets just as fired up as I do, and I find he's screaming and I'm screaming the exact same thing all the time, right? Jared Goff throws the pass into the dirt so that it's not intercepted or whatever, and Mike and I are both yelling at the same time. What are you doing? You know, you know. I get emotional when I watch football. You know, I can get downright loud sometimes. Well, I get into the game. No, I don't bet on it. It's pretty funny. After all those years in the casino business, I rarely gamble. Okay, I I'm much more conservative now than I used to be. But yeah, I rarely gamble anymore. Gambling boils down to entertainment for value for your money. It's just like going to see a movie. You pay to get into a movie theater. You don't know if the movie's going to be enjoyable or not, right? Entertainment value for your money. I look at gambling the same way. And I can get much more entertainment value for my money in 1,000 other endeavors. Okay. There are much more cost effective forms of entertainment. Well, I can go out and buy a video game and play the video game versus an hour in the casino or $60 for the video game. They'd probably be comparable if I was playing, slot machine or whatever, you know. Well, I got burnt out on some of the video games, and the one that I prefer to play now is I'm hesitant to start a new game because when I start a new game, it will be 70 to 80 hours into the game before I eventually win. And I do play to win. Okay. But yeah, it's, entertainment value for your money. I don't care whether you're gambling or going to see opera or Broadway shows or uh, lounge acts. You know what I mean? It's still going to always boil down to entertainment value for your money. And with the inflation in the country now, I went down to the store this morning and I saw the prices and I'm like, they're still going up. You know, it's ridiculous. My tobacco went up, and that's not even tariffed. It's grown right here in the USA, right? Yeah. The corporate America, they're gonna raise their prices every year, increase their profits every year. They'll never get tired of the greed machine that they've created. Never. I saw it throughout the casino industry. I can't justify that. No, I'm anti-greed. Sorry. I guess I missed that boat. Well, I think part of it was the fact that I was in the table games business, and I took so much money from so many people for so many years that it left a bad taste in my mouth. Sorry. It's not for me. Okay. I just, I don't want to hustle people. It's not my bag anymore. I mean, it used to be. When I was dealing, I was working for tips. And when I was in management, I wanted to be every player in every chair and in every casino I worked in, The bottom line on gambling, I don't care whether you're the house or the casino, everybody makes money the same way, and that's decisions per hour. It's a basic math issue. The number of decisions, win, lose, or draw per hour is how everybody makes their money. That's how the player makes his money. That's how the casino makes the money. That's how the dealer makes the money. Dealers, working for tips. But if you're not getting enough decisions per hour as a dealer, you're going to get canned. Okay. Yeah. You have to go fast or you're gone. Right? That's corporate America, They can't take their foot off the gas. Well, the whole time I was in the industry, I told them, the higher up I get, the closer to the door I get. You give me the responsibilities. There are just certain things that I'm not willing to do. I'm not willing to mistreat people. I'm not willing to take shortcuts. I'm not willing to, do a lot of things. Personal morals, personal ethics, I was the type of supervisor where I went into the supervisor's meeting and the boss said, get a paper trail on that guy. I want him out of here in 30 days. He's too much trouble. And I'd walk out of the meeting and find the guy and fire him on the spot. And I'd tell him, go down and file for your unemployment today. Okay. No, this is why people get disgruntled and then come back in with a semi-automatic weapon or an automatic weapon nowadays. Right? There's certain ways you treat people, and there are things you just don't do. You don't mess with a man's future, right? And to create a paper trail over a 30-day span of time so you don't have to pay a man unemployment, that's just wrong. If the man needs to part company, cut him loose today. Let him file for his unemployment. If you're going to be unethical, how can you expect people to be ethical? When you're in the casino business, number one ethical concern is I don't want my employees cheating anybody, right? So why would I in turn cheat someone? I'm going to beat you out of your unemployment because I'm a tight bastard? No. I'd just soon cut you loose, let you collect the unemployment, and hope that you can find a job. Okay. It makes no sense to do some of the evil things that these corporations do. They're not building for a future. One of the things is when they disgruntle that employee and they boot him out the door, he runs and he tells all of his family members how you mistreated him. So now all of his family members, all of his friends no longer want to do business with your business. How is that building for your business's future? It's not. Okay. Some things are common sense, and some things are just nothing but based on greed, right? For a multi-million-dollar corporation to bend over backwards to not pay a minimum wage employee unemployment benefits is just absurd. Okay. But the corporation says, well, it's okay for us to treat some people dirty. No, it's not. Grow up. Okay. So thus, the higher I got, the closer to the door I got. There's some things I'm not willing to do. Some things that they're doing are just wrong. And while I may not have the position or the power to change what you're doing, I can always control what I'm doing, right? I think that's part of just being a decent human being, right? It's like I can't, I'm not going to mistreat people. You can't make me do it, not even for a paycheck. Okay. I have no interest in harming another individual. And I don't care who they are, what race, age, religion, doesn't matter to me. I'm not going to mistreat them. I treat everyone with kindness every day. I think most people do. It's the discourteous person that stands out. It's not the courteous person. He blends in. You never even notice the courteous guy, right? He blends in. It's the guy that is discourteous that stands out, sticks out like a sore thumb. Oh, man, that guy was rude, right? You're going to notice that. You're going to remember that. So I treat everyone with kindness. That's my whole live and let live philosophy. I don't need to micromanage anyone else's life but my own. Okay. It's not my business whether you go to church or not. It's not my business what church you go to. It's not my business whether you own a gun or not. It's not my business whether you're straight or gay or bisexual or asexual. None of my business. I could care less. And I'm not going to let you do anything or make me care. Okay. I'm not going to care. Do anything you want. Say anything you want. Right? Wear anything you want. If you're a man, you want to put on a dress, go right ahead. It's your option. I don't care. It's none of my business. I care about the clothes I'm putting on, not the ones you're putting on. Okay. People want to pick and choose for other people, and you just can't. It's just like your parents trying to tell you who you can date when you're young. You rebel. I'll date anybody I want to date, right? Normal human behavior, right? No, I don't let people control me. I don't let people manipulate me. And I'm not going to be mean to people. And I'm not saying I'm perfect. I've made mistakes. I've made errors. Okay. But I learn from them, and I try to move on. But I'm not going to beat myself up for every error I've ever made either. You got to be able to forgive yourself just like you got to be able to forgive others. If you're not able to forgive yourself, how are you going to be able to forgive someone else when they make a mistake? And human beings make mistakes. It's part of being a human being. I was drawing a comparison the other day to what I call the humanity of mankind. I watch a show, I think I talked about it yesterday, Cross Timbers Bison. A guy is raising wild bison. He's breeding them and selling and slaughtering, and he's in that industry. I think he got into it just before the pandemic, and he's doing quite well. I find this show very interesting and difficult, but I noticed that he's got this herd of bison, and one of his yearling females, not quite full size, but getting there, she got tangled up into some wire and had wire wrapped around, looped several times around her rear legs, and it was restricting her mobility, and the wire was actually starting to cut into her skin. And the rest of the herd saw that she was having difficulty, and they kept coming over to check on her. Well, that got his attention, and he saw the wire and decided to do something about it to get it off of her. And he gets the wire off of her and puts her back out into the herd. And every member of the herd is coming over and licking her wounds, trying to help her heal. They're all showing that they care about her. And in their social hierarchy, it's the strongest gets to eat first. So your 2,000-pound bull male, he gets any food he wants before anybody else, or he'll beat them up, right? And they create this pecking order all the way from the strongest male in the herd all the way down to the weakest male or female, right? They've got this pecking order. Yet while they have this pecking order, when one of the herd gets hurt, they're all concerned. Every member of the herd, including the 2,000-pound bull, is going to come over to check on the hurt little girl. I wish that our humanity for mankind would work the same way. What if we took care of every person that was injured? What if we actually cared about them? Well, then we'd have the same thing that the bison have, perpetuation of the species, right? I mean, that's why it's instinctive for them to do it, right? It's just like I saw that squirrels the other day. I was watching a show about squirrels, and I saw that if they find a baby squirrel that's been abandoned, they will bring it in and they will raise it as their own to perpetuate the species, to not let the species die out. It's a shame that mankind can't do that. Could you imagine if mankind cared about every human being on the planet? There would never be any murders, never be any wars, never be any loneliness, right? Could solve a lot of problems if we just cared about one another. These thoughts were just running through my mind, you know. Well, if you want to stop me from running down this rabbit hole, get into the chat room and talk. Tell me to shut up, okay? Well, that's the only thing I can tell you is what's on my mind. I don't know what's on your mind yet till you get in the chat room. Go to YouTube, download the Discord app, and jump in here and chat. We can talk about anything you want to talk about. Evidently, I'm doing a tirade on live and let live. Okay. I've fallen down that rabbit hole once again. Well, I think it matters. There's just so much stress and strife, hardship, and a lot of it is man-made. You know, it doesn't have to be. I think that part of our problem of not caring about one another is the media that we watch. I think if the media reported all the goodness in the world, we'd all be able to turn on the TV and see everybody being kind to one another. Ooh. Well, I don't think that will get you to tune into the rest of the story at 11. Okay. I don't think good news sells the way bad news does, because the bad news triggers fear. They show you crime and they make you fear. They put on the news story, this guy shot this guy for no apparent reason. They don't tell you, well, there were billions of people yesterday that didn't shoot anybody, that didn't hurt anybody, that it's the exact opposite. They were helpful to one another. Okay. Helpful doesn't sell, right? Helpful is not clickbait, I guess. These people are doing what they're taught to do in college, is get on the media and scare people and get them to tune into your next show at 11. They don't care whether they're misleading you into thinking that there's a criminal on every corner. There's not, by the way. In America, I'm telling you, I walk outside all the time and I never see crime. I never see criminals. I never see people planning a major heist. That stuff's on TV. It's in the movies. It's not real life. I believe in self-censorship. I turn it off. Okay. I purposely do not watch the news so that they cannot brainwash me. And they're brainwashing me for the pettiest of reasons. They're brainwashing me so that they can sell me Palmolive dish soap or Dawn dish soap, or I can buy Cooper tires or Goodrich tires or Goodyear tires. It's obscene. That's why they're showing you all the crime. That's why they're scaring you. It's because they want to sell you dish soap. Yeah, I know. It's sad. It makes no sense. Now they want, let's sell you pharmaceuticals in their commercials, right? Stupid. You got to pay $100,000 to buy a new pickup truck because they spent hundreds of millions of dollars advertising that pickup truck on television. Does anybody other than me see the absurdity in that? Okay. Well, that $100,000 pickup truck might only cost $10,000 if they stop putting it on TV. They put it on TV so that they can sell more trucks. Once they get all the trucks sold, then they got to recall them because they took shortcuts along the way. Okay. They create a whole vicious circle that it's obscene and it has nothing to do with anything. Yeah. They made you watch, 6 different news broadcasts about people shooting one another. I see people help people all the time. Yeah, that doesn't make the news. Go figure. But yeah, I self-censorship. I turn that off. I don't watch specifically for that reason. No, you're not going to scare me. I tell people all the time, look at the numbers. Criminal population is never more than 7% of the U.S. population. Ever. It's never been 50%. Ever. It's never been more than 7% of the population. And of that 7%, 2 million of the guys are already in prison. They're locked up. They're under lock and key. I honestly believe that the police outnumber the bad guys by a lot. I think the good guys outnumber the bad guys by a lot. If 7% are criminal, that means 93% are not criminal. Ever. Well, when was the last time you sat down at Sunday dinner with your family and said, Monday, we're going to have to go kill so-and-so? It's never happened. It's never going to happen. The thought doesn't cross your mind. You don't think like that. You would never think like that. If by chance you do think like that, get some counseling, get some help. But I'm telling you that normal people don't think like this. It does not happen. We don't sit around a dinner table and plan murders. But if you watch our news, you'd sure as hell think that half of America is out there trying to plot their next crime. And it's just not the truth. I went to the restaurant this morning, saw no criminals, no crime. I went to the bank, no criminals, no crime. I went to the grocery store, no criminals, no crime. I went to the tobacco store, no criminals, no crime. How is that possible? If you watch our local news, you couldn't think it's possible. If you watch our local news, there's a dark-skinned man on the corner with a gun. He's going to kill you. No, that's what they're scaring you with. Uncontrolled fear is not good for you. Okay. Control your fears. Walk down the street and see for yourself that crime is not that prevalent. Not as what they're trying to make you believe. I know that the news is brainwashing us. It's the corporate news. The corporations are doing this, right? Because they make money off of it. They're turning a profit. You want to get rid of corporate news? Stop watching it. It's pretty basic. Well, look what the people just did to Disney over this whole Jimmy Kimmel incident. They lost so many subscribers overnight that they've asked Jimmy Kimmel, please come back. We'll give you your show back. Right? Why? Well, why did it happen so fast? He wasn't even kicked off the air a week. It happened so fast because they took their money from him. That's the only thing the corporation's ever going to notice. You want AT&T to notice you? Stop giving them your money. You want Chevy to stop giving them your money. That's the only thing they'll recognize. That's corporate America. When their cash flow is interrupted, then they understand, oh, we've made an error. We've done something that the people dislike. We must correct that immediately. Isn't it funny how if a law needs to be changed, it takes forever to get it done? But if a corporation lost a couple of $1 billion yesterday, they can fix that problem today. Okay. Without hesitation. It's amazing how that works. These corporations will not recognize anything else. You can talk to them till you're blue in the face. They don't care. It's a fake smile and they're moving on. How fast can I get this guy out of here? Right? Yeah. It's a whitewash. That's all you're going to get out of the corporation until you take their money. Once you take their money away from them, they're going to listen to every word you have to say, and it's going to sink in. I bet you Jimmy Kimmel will get great ratings tonight when his show airs. I won't be watching it. No. I actually watch a show that's on opposite him. That hour at night, I'm watching the Enforcer channel on YouTube. I get my war news. The Enforcer channel is a couple of brothers out of Alabama that they search all of social media, and then they show you video proof of what they're saying. And they do it in a pretty fast pace, keeps it moving. I put that on, and then I do my nightly ablutions. I make sure my dishes are done, my coffee pot's set up for the morning. I make sure that I brush my teeth and put my glasses up so I know right where they are in the morning. All that normal stuff that we all do. I can't now put them on in the background, so I'm at least listening. I don't need to see a drone fly into a truck again. I've already seen it a million times, right? But I'll listen to them in the background as I'm, picking up, getting ready, got to go through and make sure the door's locked. And, we all do a routine. I think that's pretty standard business. Yeah. Hopefully, people will get in this chat room and convince me to change my routine. Give me other ideas of things to do. Teach me something. I like meeting people, visiting with them, finding out what's going on with them, especially people in other countries. I really miss that from the casino industry, because being in Vegas, I got to meet people from all walks of life, from all over the planet. One day you could be dealing to a Philly cop, and the next day you're dealing to Baltimore florist, and the next day science teacher from Germany, or a gardener from England. It varied, and it was never a rerun. It was never boring. That's the thing about this chat room. Once it's populated in here, this is never going to be boring, ever. It's boring now because all we got is just me. Okay. Once you guys all get in here, it'll be busy. It'll be exciting, and it'll never be a rerun. It'll be different every day. That's why I'm excited about it anyways. But I think that YouTube just needs a chance to sort us out and figure out where our audience is, and they'll get there eventually. I don't know who they're putting this show in front of now. I have no idea. But I'm not going to be impatient. It's working. Only been doing it for, reliably for, a week, basically. So, we'll see what happens. It'll all come out in the wash. Usually does. I like I like the fact that the chat room won't be reruns. Yesterday's show, you can go back and you can, scan through it. And I've been able to chat to stay up there on the replay. So you will be able to go back and look and who said what. Take screenshots or whatever you guys want to do. I'm not going to do any of that. I watched part of last night's and I saw him doing it. I did a bad job yesterday. So I was not impressed. Well, my language was all right. I just thought that I was kind of boring. And I'm not trying to be boring. A certain amount of stuff I have to repeat every day, like, the name of the show, afternoon chat, the hours of the show, Monday through Friday, 3 to 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Right. I have to repeat that people go to YouTube and download the Discord app so that they can get in the chat and talk. I have to do the whole like and subscribe dealy, Well, eventually I'm going to do other things with the media company. I mean, this show is not for profit, but the media company is going to be for profit. I mean, I'm figuring I'll put other shows on. I did offer a show to my pastor in case he wanted one, but and his wouldn't be for profit, not for my profit. I'm sure we could set something up so that his church could make some money, But yeah, but the Ghost Mostly Media LLC, it's got to make money, right? But this show, I'm not going to put any sponsors on this show. I'm not going to come out with a line of merch. I'm not trying to get myself famous. I'm trying to build a community of people that want to talk in the middle to late afternoon. Okay. And I don't care what we talk about. As long as we don't piss off YouTube, we're golden as far as I'm concerned. I know that a lot of social media has got some issues with people trolling one another, and I will try to moderate that out of this. I don't want people to pick on people in the chat. We need people in the chat. Otherwise, it's just me. So if you have a need to lash out, and call someone a jerk or something like that, I'm over here. Your day shift whipping boy, Ghost Mostly. Jump in here. Let me have it. Okay. And then, I'll refer you to the Patreon page and tell you need to support the channel so that I'll be here next week for you to rap on, But, I'm going to want to protect the people in the chat. And it's got to be a nice, friendly, open atmosphere. We need people that are willing to talk and willing to give us honest opinions without fear of being chastised or ostracized by our society. The ultimate live and let live, freedom of speech. Let them say what they got to say. Listen to them. Maybe we'll learn something and we'll learn it together. Yeah, once the chat is populated, there are other things that we'll be able to do, like polls and the whatnot. With no one in the chat, it doesn't do me any good to put up a poll, right? We'll get there eventually. YouTube just needs time for their algorithm to sort us out. Well, if the show's going to be live streamed every day, YouTube's going to want people to watch it so that they can try to talk me into putting commercials in it, which they're not going to be able to do. So, yeah, I don't want to sell you anything. Not now, not ever. Yeah, I find my mind wandering. I'm thinking of my dinner this evening. Well, I went grocery shopping today, so I'm having fried chicken tonight. I get excited over fried chicken. I know. Ridiculous, right? Well, we all have favorite foods. I try to just go to the grocery store once a week. Sometimes I have to go in the middle of the week. I'll be out of something that I didn't want to be out of or something. But for the most part, once a week will do. The way the prices are going, I might have to switch that to once every 2 weeks. Yeah, even my tobacco price went up. I find that disgusting. Well, that's not a tariff. The tobacco's grown here in the United States, right? At least I thought it was. It might be coming from Brazil or something. I don't know. I'm not going to sit around and do an hour's worth of research to find out. It's not that big of a deal, but I did notice that they raised the price significantly by about 25%. I noticed that with my coffee. I noticed that with a lot of things. Um, I did notice that my honey, I use honey, and I noticed my honey's price stayed the same, but everything else went up. Of the things that I bought this time, you know. I was watching the gas prices today too. I think it's amazing how they go up, 30 or 40 cents a gallon on the gas. But when it comes down, it only comes down a penny or 2 pennies, 3 pennies at a time. Goes up by quarters, comes down by pennies. Makes you think that they're not being quite honest with us. Well, they are saying that it's a supply and demand, but it's man-made supply and demand. The same guy that says it's a supply and demand prices, he's the one that controls the supply, and he's the one that fulfills the demand. So it's a scam. If he has to, he'll take that oil and he'll put it on a ship and send it around the globe a couple, 3 times, or just park it off the coast for a month so that he can say, I don't have enough oil. I have to raise the price. It's a scam. I was talking about the room prices in Las Vegas. similar thing, price based on availability. It just means we like screwing our customers regularly and taking them for every dime we can get. It's the American way. Screw your neighbor, literally. And I'm not talking about sex. I'm talking about your wallet, right? You can go and get a 4-year degree at the college, get a bachelor's in how to manipulate the masses and milk them of money. It's a very popular thing. Most people are trying to do it. If I were 30 years younger, I probably wouldn't be doing a free show. But I'm not in that rat race anymore, so I'm going to do the free show. Let it go. For right now, this whole channel costs me $14 a month. I'm good. Of course, YouTube will probably figure out some way to jack that up. Well, they are a corporation, right? One of the largest, right? We'll see how far it goes. But for right now, no commercials, no mid-roll ads, no sponsors, no hustle, no grift or greed are involved with this channel at all. And I'm hoping to keep it that way. I made a commitment to myself that I would do this for 3 years and attempt to build a chat community that wants to talk every day or frequently during the week. A 3-year commitment is not that long, it's not a big deal. I would hate to think that 3 years from now I could be sitting here and not have anyone in the chat, but I suppose it's possible. We'll see how it goes. I don't have trouble getting people to talk to me in real life, in person. So somebody should jump in here and talk to me soon online, I would think. If you ever wanted the opportunity to talk to your TV, it's right here, right now. Yeah, it's raining here today. I don't know why. At least it's not snow, so we're good there. No, I don't have to shovel the rain. I live in an apartment complex. I don't shovel. Okay, so yeah, that's an inside joke, but yeah. No, I don't have the fast-paced lifestyle. I have a slower functioning, survivable pace, right? I tell people I got one speed. I call it if and when. If I get there and when I get there, I'll be right on time and be right where I'm supposed to be. As far as the chat goes, you got to use some other device other than your TV, your phone, iPad, or computer. Well, I was set up to Well, I actually I chatted last night during the football game with Mike Kimber. I sent him a couple of messages, my score predictions and whatnot. But yeah, I thought the Lions were going to score 50 points last night. They only got 38. Well, if they would have caught a couple of more of those near interceptions, I'd have been right on. But they dropped them, so it is what it is. During the course of the season, believe me, they'll get their share of interceptions. They're all ball hawks in the secondary. They're all looking to swipe the ball. They want it, which is a good thing. They got a couple of fumbles. So they got some turnovers. I like watching the Lions a lot. They're very entertaining to me. I think they have a number of offensive weapons that St. Brown, J-Mo, Laporta, and of course Gibbs and Montgomery. The new kid, Tesla. Yeah. They're fun to watch, and the explosives are just hilarious. I saw Montgomery bust through the secondary, and he was running for the length of the field. I think they got him down just inside the 15 or something. But yeah, I like to watch that. I like watching Jared Goff. I'm a Jared Goff fan. I think he ended up like 20 for 25, 200 yards and a couple of touchdowns. Fair numbers, I think next week they play Cleveland, I think. I think it's in Detroit. I'm not really sure. I haven't looked at the schedule. But I think they're Cleveland this week and Cincinnati the week after, which, I consider both of those to be wins for the Lions. They'll probably be favorites in both. Well, Cleveland's quarterback is probably going to be Joe Flacco again, or, they'll put one of their rookies in, but either way, the Lions have their way with them. They think they got a good defense right up until the point where they see a good offense like the Lions. And, yeah, they'll be playing catch up. But I enjoy watching the Lions, and it's my number one show that I watch on TV. It's the Lions playing football. I was up till 1 a.m. last night. That's why I'm tired. Well, I had to see all the post-game interviews and all that stuff, I follow them close as I follow my family. Well, nowadays with the social media and everything, you can get a lot of information from talking to the players. listening to them talk, I should say. Yeah, I think Dan Campbell is the perfect leader. Let me ask you this. If you're standing in your front yard and Dan Campbell comes walking by and he says, "Follow me," you gonna go? I am. Okay. Yes, sir. Jump in line behind him. Let's go. Doesn't matter where. No. Some men are born to lead. When you find one, you follow them. That's where the fun is. That's where the success is, right? Dan Campbell's just one of those guys. I would like to be an interim pro football coach sometime. I wouldn't want it for a full-time job, but I'd like it just for a part-time job, just for a short period of time, for like 1 month, be an interim coach. I think that would be so interesting, so much fun. Yeah, I'd probably piss a lot of people off. Well, I like to run the ball. That's my whole thing. I think you should be able to take your offensive line and point to a spot on the field and say, "We're going to run to here every play." Let the defense know what's coming, and then you should still be able to push them 3 or 4 yards out of the way. The offenses, they know the snap count. They know when the ball's going to go off. So I think that gives them enough of an advantage that they can push for 3 or 4 yards. And that's all you need. Find a little crease in there, one little lane, and then you send a rocket through it, like Jahmyr Gibbs. When I watch the Lions, I think that they have two of the fastest players in the NFL between Jameson Williams and Jahmyr Gibbs. And I think they got another half a dozen that are just a couple of steps behind them. But Jahmyr Gibbs might be the fastest running back in the NFL. Maybe Saquon's faster. I'm not sure. I'm not going to look it up and research it. I'm comfortable with my beliefs. Well, they say ignorance is bliss, right? So as long as I don't look it up, I can't be wrong. If I look it up, I could be wrong. Think about that. Does that tell you something about me? Well, that's why I tell you it's my opinion from my corner of my couch, my perspective. That's all only thing I can give. Until you guys jump in the chat room and start talking, then I'll see other perspectives. But for right now, the only perspective I can see is my own. Well, look at that. I've been rambling for an hour and 49 minutes. That means it's time to wind down the show, to start cranking it that way. I guess my closing routine is, basically what I was talking about earlier, live and let live. Be respectful of other people and allow them to be unique. It shouldn't be your place to stop them from being unique. Shouldn't be your place to judge them. I think that if you walk out on the street and you talk to 10 strangers and you go up and you say, hi, how are you today? Most of them are going to say, I'm good. How are you? Right? I think most people are friendly. Most people are sociable. You might find a guy occasionally that's in a hurry or he's got his mind focused on one particular thing. You know, that's to be expected. That's normal human behavior. But, for the most part, I think people will take the time to be courteous and to talk to you, to interact with you. It's the old kill 'em with kindness. Just be nice to everybody all of the time. And that's what you're going to get coming back to you is people being nice to you all of the time. Don't judge somebody on their appearance. Don't judge somebody on their race. Don't judge them on their religion or don't judge them. Respect them. Be patient with them. Be understanding with them. Be compassionate. These things don't cost money. Doesn't cost you money to be caring about other people. I'm not saying you have to support them. I'm not saying you got to give them money. But you can spare a minute. You can spare a smile. Okay. I mean, it's a small price to pay for the amount of kindness that you can get back. I believe that if you're kind, that kindness comes back. And I believe it tenfold. I like people. And I have a fair amount of trust for most people. I'm going to trust most people. I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt until they prove otherwise. I'm going to respect people until they prove otherwise. I've seen a lot and I've done a lot. And I honestly think that the good people on the planet, the good people outnumber the bad people. Russia's making war, but that doesn't make the Russian people bad. The Russian government is the one making the war, not all the people. Russian people that I've met in my lifetime were nice people. They were friendly. They smiled. They shook hands. They were nice people. So why should I judge them all to be bad because their government has got them going to war with the people of Ukraine? Yeah, there's a lot of negative and heinous things going on in war, and I won't argue that. But it doesn't mean that the people are all bad. They have limited news. They don't see the whole picture. Their government tells them that they're fighting the Nazis. Right? How many times do you hear in our country that we're fighting fascism? It's propaganda. My statements are from my opinion, from what I see. And I'm telling you that all this hatred is a waste of time. It's a waste of energy. And it creates or is part of the embodiment of uncontrolled fear. Fear is good to a certain amount, to a certain level. Your fear keeps you alive. Your fear keeps you from walking off a 200-foot cliff, right? But you can't let that fear control you to the point where you won't leave your home. You can't let that fear get out of control and go overboard and ruin your life. If you can control your fear, your life can have a better value to you personally. That's my belief. Hopefully, and I'm not trying to talk anyone into it. I'm just trying to tell you that the mathematical equation is you take your basic dislike of someone and you add your uncontrolled fear, and your net result is it's going to equal hate. If you control that fear, you can coexist with that guy that you disagree with. But if you fear him, you can't coexist. That uncontrolled fear, it is what I'm saying it is. It's out of control. If none of us controlled any of our fears, we'd all be huddled up in the corner in the fetal position, right? You control your fears. That's what adults and that's what mature people do is they control their fears. Fear is a good thing until it's not. When it goes overboard, anything too extreme is too much, right? A little bit of fear is okay, right? A little bit of fear will tell you, hey, I don't need to walk down that dark alley at 3:00 in the morning. Too much fear tells you it's dark, I can't leave the house. Where's your quality of life then? Right? That's not the solution. Control your fears, control your thoughts. And if you can't control your fears and you can't control your thoughts, seek some counseling. Talk to people about it. People will help you get over this stuff. People will help you put it in its place and learn how to deal with it. Whenever people collaborate, they succeed. I don't care what the issue is. If you get enough people together in a collaboration, you're going to succeed at whatever you're trying to do. I don't care if you're trying to go to the moon or if you're trying to go to the corner store. If you can't do it on your own, contribute, collaborate with other people, right? And you'll be able to get to the store. That's, so this is Ghost Mostly closing the show afternoon chat. And I'm telling you, be nice to everybody. You're going to like the end result. All right. With that said, I'll see you guys tomorrow, 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, the show Afternoon Chat. We'll see you then. Bye now.